All right, so wanted to talk a little bit about the town center. And the reason why I go back and forth on the town center talking about it here and there is because they release a little bit of information over time. And as the project gets more developed, obviously the more information that they start to put out, right? Um, Now, with that said, before I get into all that, Noe is in Portland, so you've probably seen a lot of the videos of her in Portland doing a lot of walking tours, which are pretty good. She has a totally different perspective of Portland now that she has been more downtown. When we went there, we spent most of our time downtown, but our hotel was not in downtown, so we had to really plan our outings a lot more than what she's able to do. Now that she's down there, she's able to go to a lot of different things at different times, and so she's really liking Portland. But that's not what this video is about. We'll talk about Portland later when she gets back. Um, but the town center, getting back on topic, is completing the first phase, right? The first phase is going to have over 200 apartment units. They're saying between 200 to 350 apartments for students. They're building a student building, which is directly trying to pull some of the UW-T students. University of Washington Tacoma students. There are other schools down there too, but the big one is UW-T. Excuse me. And so they're trying to basically lure those folks. And I've mentioned before, there are a lot of different apartment developers trying to go after those small amount of students. But every little bit helps. Now, I was the first one to mention that the town center, one of the things that they wanted to do is obviously have an esports arena, right? I mentioned that, and they're talking a little bit more about it. But let me first back up a little bit. The first phase, which is the student building, actually has 5 floors of apartments above it, and it's basically a very large structure. It has a parking garage with it, and there's also going to be some retail in that portion of it. Now they're talking about adding a wine bar to, I think, to that particular development part of it. I don't know if that's still going to be the case or not, but that was kind of what was mentioned before. The next part of this is adding a 240,000 square foot retail space. This is a very large space. Now, not only will it have the big piece that will either be a grocery store or a small movie theater, they're still bouncing between the two. But it's going to also have a lot of retail spaces in front of it as well. So part of the development is going to have where you're able to walk through the middle of the entire town center. It's basically part of the whole Prairie Line Trail. The Prairie Line Trail runs through UW-T, goes all the way down from downtown, excuse me, downtown all the way out to Point Ruston. I mean, in fact, you can literally take, I mean, if you're in pretty good health and in good shape, you can technically walk from downtown to Ruston, and eventually you're going to be able to walk into Point Defiance Zoo and all of that. So the whole goal is for people to really see Tacoma as more of a pedestrian-friendly, bike-friendly area. So the town center is taking that into consideration, especially with UW-T being such a walkable campus. Now, even though it has a lot of hills, hills here in Tacoma are serious, especially downtown. They're pretty serious hills. But anyway, so they're working on that whole component of that and having that as part of the central piece. So you're able to walk down the middle of this, and there's going to be shops and stores on either side and retail built up above. And up on the hill will be an office building, which will be the very final and last phase. But phase one includes the student building. I call it the student building because it has mostly apartments. And that total structure is about 7 stories tall. Two floors are concrete, and it is a parking garage. The upper 5 floors are all wood construction. And then the next part is that large, huge retail component. Now, within that retail component, they're going to put the Esports Arena. So it's an esports interactive arena. It's going to be about 20,000 square feet. 20,000. Now, for the folks who are in Seattle that watch every now and again, to give you an idea, Flat Stick Pub, which is also coming to Tacoma, is going to take over a space in Tacoma that is about 12,000 square feet. Once they take over that facility at that point in time, and I guess as of now, I should say, that would be the largest facility that they would have. Now, I don't know. I know in California they're adding space there too. I don't know how big that Flat Stick Pub will be, but when you're looking at the ones that are up in Seattle and other places, the one in Tacoma, and they're going to add one in Spokane, but the one in Tacoma is going to be the largest at 12,000 square feet. This esports arena is going to be 20,000 square feet, so almost double the size of the space here in Tacoma. Now, what will this esports arena have? Now, obviously, it's going to have video games. So it's going to have places where you can actually play various different video games. It will even have a place where they can broadcast live from the location. Based on the renderings that they have, it will basically have like almost like a little news center in it where they're able to broadcast from that particular facility and do a lot of other things. Now, what they don't show you is the interior design. They give you a generic view as to what the esports arena has to have. So kind of like the operation side of it, but they don't show you the interactive side of it, the things that you're able to do. So you're not going to see all of the computer terminals and where things are going to be. There's no blueprint of that. But what they're talking about having along with video games is mini golf, bowling, and more, right? So in this particular space for the esports arena, aside from being able to have tournaments and different things, and a lot of people are looking forward to that, this is something that I don't think is anywhere in this area as far as esports arena. I could be wrong. But this esports arena is really important because I mentioned before there is a company here that is based out of Europe, and they actually have a location. I forget exactly where they have their location in Europe, but they also put an office here in Tacoma, and they broadcast and hold various different types of game tournaments. These are big tournaments that they have. And they are looking at possibly bringing one of those big, large tournaments that last for days on end to the Tacoma Dome, right? So given the fact that this esports arena is going to happen here, it really does create a lot of traction because not only do we have the Tacoma Dome, which can host one of these big major 3-day events of nothing but games, but we also have we have the home office of one of these companies that hold these tournaments, which offer big money. And we also have an esports arena that's going to go into the town center, which all of those combined makes a lot of sense. But it's going to be pretty interesting. I mean, Flat Stick Pub, which offers its own games that they've created, and it's centered around, beer and different things like that. It's going to go over there in what I call our entertainment area of the city in Tacoma, basically along Pack Avenue. There's a lot of existing bars. Up the street from that, or up the hill, I should say, from that is McMenamins. Now, McMenamins, here's kind of the entertainment options that we have when we're talking about video games, okay? Or games in general. Downtown, there is a place where you can go and you can play a lot of arcade games, right? Let me find the name. It was on the tip of my tongue and then I forgot it, right? Let me put it in. Hold on. Let's see here. So you're able to go in there, and we went in once, Noelle and I, and it's pretty cool. You can drink and do different things, and it's pretty cool. You can play a lot of different games that you would find at any sort of mall where they have a game room, right? What is it called? Hold on. Dorky's Arcade. It's called Dorky's Arcade. So Dorky's Arcade has been there for a while. And you can go in there and literally play various different games, throwback games, new games, different things like that, right? Pinball. So they have a lot of arcade type games. That was pretty much it. Now, McMenamins, actually, the Elks Temple, has a level, a room, where you can also drink and do everything else, but they also have just a few of those same type of arcade games there as well, right? But you have to kind of be there to kind of experience it. It's really always busy, so it's a little bit different. Flatstick Pub will have where you can play golf inside and all of this other type of stuff and various different games as well. But as far as bowling, mini bowling, or anything like that, we don't have that downtown. So when you look at the Esports Arena, that they're wanting to put down there, a lot of these other places offer something similar as far as games go, but they don't offer, we're talking like just regular games, but they don't offer like the Fortnite type of game experience. They don't offer that. Whereas this is going to probably offer stuff like that and more. I mean, we're talking hardcore gaming, not just your arcade style games that people play. This is hardcore gaming and tournaments. It's a big deal. And on top of that, they're adding mini golf as well as bowling. Now, I don't think this is going to be a full-scale bowling alley or nothing like that. It's probably going to be like the mini bowl or something like that, which I've been to one of those. They're pretty fun. Duck pin bowling, which is pretty cool. But regardless, this is a pretty interesting development that now they've actually released that bit of information. Before, I didn't know. Before, I thought, because it had mentioned somewhere that in the large retail space, it was either going to be a grocery store, a movie theater, or an esports arena. But then also there's other sections that said the Esports Arena is going to be in a particular section. It's going to be upstairs. There was a whole lot of different things that was saying now it identifies the size. It's a 20,000 square foot esports interactive arena. As I mentioned, video games, mini golf, bowling, and it says more. Don't know what the more is, but it's going to be a huge, huge thing. Now, Zoe, I've told Zoe about it. She's into gaming. Zoe's a big-time gamer. Zoe's looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. Anyhow, as more development happens with this particular project, I will let you guys know. But yeah, it seems like they're going to actually have a true esports arena here in downtown Tacoma. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, I will see you. Take care.